The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we have one of them here today. I would like to welcome Mrs. Aradhna Rana, Director of the Icon Public School, and extend my warmest welcome to one and all present here. It was an amazing day, full of fun and thoughts. Now I would request Mrs. Aradhna Rana, Director of the Icon Public School, to speak a few words and address the children.
Kids, I'm really overwhelmed. I never speak a few words. I have to speak many, many words. So I hope you'll bear with me. First of all, congratulations to all of you. I never actually expected my class 10 students to have become poets during this time. And I'm very heartened that so many of you have written, such good poetry. It's not easy to write poetry. It's much easier to write prose because somewhere you have to rhyme or somewhere there is some lilt to the writing. Now, first of all, poetry writing is a very artistic form and it's a liberating form. So I suggest all of you should try your hand at poetry because it's not for the audience, it's for yourself also. You feel very enriched when you write poetry. So there are, 2-3 forms of poetry. One is abstract. I think Lisha's was the most abstract poem we heard. Most of them were concrete poems. There is nothing that one is better than the other. There are different genres of poetry. But by and large, you start with concrete poetry and you go on to abstract. Because when you're young, it's very difficult to write abstract poetry and to actually write it sensibly and well. Poetry sometimes is subtle, where the audience has to find out what you are saying, and sometimes it's very obvious and which is very easy to understand. Now, when you are writing poetry and when you're reciting your written poetry, there are two different things. If you're going to recite your written poetry, a lot of it depends on your recitation. If it's just one creative writing competition, poetry writing competition, I would judge you differently. But now writing is a part of this whole process. So you will be judged on your basic poetry, the written part, and how you delivered it, how you recited it. So there are two different things. Some of you may score very high on your written, but may not score high on your recitation, and the other way around. Now, as budding poets, I must tell you that those of you who have tried it, even those of you who have not got selected, it's okay. But those of you who have tried it, you must know that, these ideas come to you in a flash. You cannot sit and say, okay, I will write poetry now. Because there'll be no idea coming to you. I write poetry, so I know that sometimes if I sit, I can sit for hours and not write 2 lines. And sometimes when I'm walking by myself or when I'm sleeping, before the sleep comes, the best lines of poetry come. And by the morning, I've forgotten. And it's such a waste. So if you want to be a poet, always have either a voice recorder or a book at hand so that you can note down your thoughts. You may not write poetry. So even at night, sometimes I wish I would, just record what I think and in the morning, brush up on it. So that's a very good thing to do. And when you write poetry, use a lot of imagery. That means when you write, the whole picture should come in front of your eyes. That gives a lot of pleasure to the audience. Now, should a poetry always rhyme? No. But as young people who have started writing poetry, start with always rhyming poetry. So that brings out the best poet in you. After that, when you become good, then you can go on to non-rhyming poetry. Now, in the non-rhyming poetry, it's very essential that you recite it well. Otherwise, it seems like prose. So if you can write a non-rhyming poetry and make the audience, feel that you're writing poetry, that's the best form. Secondly, all of you should write anything and then edit it. Because in our first instance, none of us can write, wonderful poetry from the start. So write whatever you feel and then edit it for rhymes. Now, when you're rhyming or writing poetry, first very important thing is vocabulary. How do you develop your vocabulary? By reading a lot of poetry. When you read a lot of poetry, automatically your vocabulary improves, your rhyming words improve. Sometimes what happens is we write an idea, just not getting the rhyming word. You can use apps like Rhymely and others to just find rhyming words and see which word fits in. And sometimes you can alter the word order in a sentence. So you can do that. Now, to write good poetry, a fantastic, idea of metaphors, puns, other, figures of speech is very important because, they bring out the flavor in a poetry. Now, also, let me tell you, the best poets come out of a lot of rejection. People who do not undergo rejection normally don't improve to great heights. So once you've been rejected many times and you keep on with it, that makes a good poet. So those of you who either do not win much or those of you whose poetry has not been selected, don't lose heart, because if you read the biography of poets, most of them are the ones who have faced a lot of rejection.
Galaxy is everyone's fantasy. So today I'll be taking you all to the world of stars where you all will be forgetting all your scars. Good morning, everyone. My name is Samriddhi Kabra, and today I'm going to recite a poem in front of you all, which is written by me. Between Stars. The life between stars is just like living with no bars. It's so peaceful, it's so graceful, it's beautiful, it's just wonderful. I feel like I'm a fairy moving around in an environment so airy. There's no mate, there's no one to irritate. It's just like living a simple life without hate. The twinkling of the stars leaving a ray has made me realize to sprinkle happiness every day. And the mesmerizing view of the Milky Way has made me put all my anxieties away. Although I missed my friends, so-called squad, but yet I am happy that I contacted to God. I wanted the time to freeze. I wanted to cherish those memories. Once in my life, I want to float between the stars. I know it's something bizarre, but yeah, it's my dream, and I know it will come true when I will probably be with him, the God. Thank you.
Now, first, Samriddhi. Samriddhi had a good introduction. She had a very pleasant voice, and that was one poetry which I just didn't get the feeling that she was reading. It was just coming, the words were flowing out of her mouth. So that was very, very pleasant. In fact, that's another poetry. When I read it, it somehow didn't make too much of sense to me. I thought, it was a little muddled. But when she recited it, it became clear and it made a lot of sense to me. The bizarre in the poetry came out much better when she recited it. So it was very nice.
Good morning. I am Vaishnavi Burade from grade 10 Sagacity. Today, I would like to recite a poem before you, which is written by me. The title of the poem is The Inner Soul. Though I struggled a lot this time, but still couldn't make a dime. Happy that I came miles away from the start, but still it breaks my heart. Reaching the top and falling down feels like someone's stealing my crown. First, you see success held in hand, and then just watch it lose in the sand. No one's there to give you a shoulder to cry. It's just your inner soul on which you rely. It tells you to be strong and make everything right that had gone wrong. It says, try, but don't cry. Just chill and give me a high five. Why is failure making you feel shy when you know legends never die? Be brave and rise, because failure has made you wise. Be the sun who shines bright, so that the whole universe gets light. Struggle today at night, so that tomorrow you reach great height. Overcome your emotional thunders so that you achieve great wonders. Be like a smiley sunflower so that in your life happiness will shower. Be a miraculous you so that you live a life which is new. Thank you.
Vaishnavi. Now, when you wrote the poetry, it made more sense to me than you recited it, because when you recited it, it wasn't from the heart. And if I didn't have your paper in front of me, I wouldn't have known exactly what you were reciting. So your recitation need to be improved. Your words were not clear. It was just like reading. So Vaishnavi.
Good morning, one and all present here. Today, I, Abhimanyu Chatterjee of Class 10 Sagacity, will recite a self-composed poem, Humanity, which is titled Humanity. Humanity is a sham. We are not gentle lambs. We are wolves baring our teeth because we know we are monsters underneath. This is a cruel, ruthless world where a peaceful voice is never heard, but there is still a glimmer of hope in which we can fix the things we broke. To keep our future alive, humanity is what we should promote. Thank you.
It was very short, so before we could I could gather something. It finished, but in any case, it's not the length of the poem. It was passionate, but again, there was no expression in the voice to show that disgust in the beginning, then hope. Later. That Abhimanyu, you need to improve the quality of your reciting, and you will get better at it. You've got the way with words, but I think it was your first attempt. You'll get better with it as you go by. As young people, I would suggest that you write more happy poetry, because it reflects a lot on your state of mind and how you think also. So I would, tell you not to write too much of depressing or negativity in the poetry, because this seeps in into your personality. You are young. Don't write about such depressing kind of concepts.
Respected judges, teacher, and my dear friends, I am Purva Shetia from Class 10 Sagacity. Today I will be presenting my poem Between the Dreams. In the world full of glow and gleam, I am lost between my dreams. Leaving each reality behind, I am lost in the world of mine. Dreams, like rivers, flow deftly in my mind, giving nothing with each twist and wind. Dream is what I no longer want to hide, but can't let out 100 times I tried. Fantasizing a world with no pain and sorrow, forgetting the real struggle of living tomorrow. A stay near a lake with blowing air free, where the sole inhabitant is just me. How life goes on continuing, not a single piece of advice contributing. How common is this nowadays to forget the people's strife while continuing the needs of our own life. Willingly wish to become how God wanted me to be. I am so tired of living a life where the society will judge me. Humans not being to solve one's grief, explaining others the art of living in brief. How I wish that all my dreams come true, that people keep their noses out of my view, that I take baby steps and grow at my speed and don't care about why I am not in the lead. I am okay with you helping me out, giving me the nourishment I need to sprout. But when you pressurize me and make me freeze, I would never able to sprout, you see. Thank you.
Purva. Purva, now it was, why were you reading? You were just reading. Again, that is why your poetry did not make an impact. The words were just woven together. They were well written. So a good, very good depiction of teenage years, but it could have been recited much better to have an impact on the audience.
A very warm good morning to all. I am Sagacious Harsh from Grade 10 Sagacity. Let me recall an incident from the 1986 FIFA World Cup when Diego Maradona scored a spectacular goal using his hand. The name of my poem is Hand of God. It was 22nd June 1986. arrived the extraordinary magician who wore the blue jersey at 26 and created his own definition. Driving through the midfield, he drifted towards the goal, the prey of cruel tackling, Argentinian's heart and soul. With the heavy blow of wind, waltzing his way around the defenders at will, bamboozling and fascinating to watch. The little man would never stand still. The ball was up high in the sky, saying, "Hey England, goodbye." The little guy ran as fast as he could and punched the ball into the goal, as he should. This event shook the England team, a moment that they would never dream. The players argued and went ahead, but the referee concluded and said it was his head. This day was written in the history of football, which startled the people after all. But everyone cheered and stood up. After all, it was our legend who lifted the World Cup. Thank you.
Harsh, when I saw your poetry, I thought it was copied. So that is why I really scanned it. And it was not. So I'm very happy that it was original. And you picked up this concept of sports, which was very nice. The way you went about this particular event. My only objection is that when you recited it, that it should have had the excitement of a commentator. The scene is going on in front of your eyes. So why isn't there excitement in your eyes when the ball is caught and England is gone? So it should have had this excitement. So that was what was lacking. Your very well written poetry though. It should have been a visual delight. So which did not come about because of your recitation.
Good morning, everyone. I am Ayushi from grade 10 Sagacity, and today I will be presenting 4 short poems composed by me. A sister, a shoulder on which you can cry, the one who encourages you to try, the one on whom you can rely, and to her you can never properly lie. She is a ray of light. Being with her is a delight. She is a ray of hope, and her encouragement always finds a scope. She is like your mother's shadow and a cute rabbit of a meadow. A mother, the other definition of love, the one who gives you wings to fly like a dove. She loves you like no other and will love you now and forever. To her, you are everything. Her smile brings along a fresh spring. She is an angel sent from above, and she only knows how to love. She is the purest at heart, but with her, you can never grow apart. A brother. He protects you from the world, but for him, you are his world. He can't live without you. Teasing you is all what he loves to do. He will always be there, and for you, he will always care. He'll always make you laugh, and what he feels for you, he doesn't even express half. Together, you have memorable moments to adore. You are happy is all what he makes sure. A father. All that he knows is to give. He teaches us how life should be lived. He knows all that you need, accompanies you in each good deed. All he knows is to give. From him you learn, all he knows is how to care. From him you learn how to share. Each moment shared with him is fun. All what he does can't be thanked even a ton. What matters to him the most is your happiness. All he is filled with is heartiness. Thank you.
Ayushi, very simple and very straightforward poetry. There was actually neither an introduction needed nor anything needed. It was a very simple, heartfelt poetry. Again, it is, if you were in class 6, you could have won a prize. But in class 10, you may not win a prize. But as far as poetry is concerned, you are at that first level of poetry. So from that point of view, it was very well written, very heartfelt, and very cute. So you can improve from that and start writing poetry. You have it in you.
A warm good morning to all of you. Today I, Risha Sabla, will present a self-composed poem by me, my magical piece of paradise. My pretty garden, the Almighty knows. For some, it is a piece of land. For some, it is land for cultivation, or it is a land to show. For me, my garden is the most beautiful masterpiece. Gardening is how I relax. For me, it is another form of creating and playing with color. The beautiful flowers in hanging baskets, brimming over, calm me down like my best friend. This scent makes me feel happy. I think I'll faint. The tulips and jasmines giving off their sweet perfume. Pretty lilies open wide, rose bushes in full bloom. The flowers are my help when I am sad. They speak a million words when I sit near them. It listens to me and makes me feel loved. Into the honeyed light of day come the bees, blessing each flower as they pass. The sunshine sparkles on the pond where the lotus grows. The tune of the wind jingles as they tinkle in the breeze. It's also very peaceful, relaxing in the sun where the butterflies flutter by having so much fun. Inside my garden, I can sit here and observe until it's very late in this magical piece of paradise. The growing of plants makes me feel happy. It gives immense pleasure and fresh air to every creature on earth. Well, a garden is a grand teacher. It teaches patience and careful watchfulness. If you have never experienced the joy of fulfilling more than you can imagine, plant a garden. Thank you.
Risha. Risha, again, it was, when I read it, I think it gave me more pleasure reading it than hearing it, because there was no expression in the description of the magical garden. I should have felt the magic in the garden. When I read it, it was a nicer poem. So that is why I could not visualize the garden when you recited it. If I had not read it, it wouldn't have had an impact. So you should have the vision, and you should imagine that what you're writing. If you're not excited about your own poetry, who will be excited? So you got to think that it's the best thing that's happened to the world.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Suthuja from Grade 10 Sagacity. Today I'll be reciting a poem which is composed by myself, Ghosts. My life is fully haunted by the people I thought I loved. Ghosts like you, they keep coming from the places I thought I knew. You keep messing with me, playing the games I fall so easily. Keep me in a position I couldn't move. I'm stuck here, I don't know what to do. You make me feel I'm unwanted, looking for reasons to let me down. Your deadly ignorance I couldn't see, how you manipulate me so easily. I know I shouldn't be here, finding my place in my own world, scared of the things we've ever done, but I'm finding my way back home. You kept me on a third wheel and I finally let you go. Wanna see me again? Sorry, you never will. Now I don't need you, I have my one real friend. Don't wanna go back? I'm better where I am. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Rithuja, your mic was very far off. I will have to listen to your poetry in the recording to make comments on it. But you were too fast with your words, and your mic was far off, so I really couldn't make out very much of your poetry. Next time, please test your mic. Be nearer the mic when you recite. You have to be loud and clear. So I'm not commenting too much on it, but because I'll have to go back to the recording and listen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Serendisha from Grade 10 Serenity, and today I'm going to recite a poem which is on memories. The timeless treasure of your heart, which is hard to discard. Every moment makes an impact. In your mind, makes a blissful track. Memories roll down in your cheeks. They take you back to those golden days which can never be made today. Memories make you heartwarming. They make every moment worth living. Memories are meant to last forever. They are the only abstract trace I've savored. Thank you.
Again, Disha Muta, same thing. It was a short poem. You were too fast and I couldn't see the feeling in it. I'll probably have to go back to the recording and listen to it because it was very muffled.
Good morning, I'm Sanskriti from Grade 10 Sagacity, and today I am going to be reciting a poem titled Tape. Everyone is walking a path unknown, running on a treadmill on which they got no control. Still, they are walking and running, caught up with life. Get up, get through the day, Good night, back to bed. Stuck in this race, never slowing down. The sea was going round. Sun rises, sets, flowers bloom, wither. But we, too busy, never stop to notice the beauty that ain't superficial but beneath. We live for the big moments while the little ones pass by. Then lay on the deathbed, playing the boring life tape with a sigh, imagining what it would have been if you would have just stopped by. But till then, it's too late. So all that we wish for is another day to live, actually live, cherish those past moments. But that never happens, and the day ends. Thank you.
Sanskriti, your video was not there, so I couldn't see your expression. But in any case, again, it was, a little introduction should have been given. It was a treadmill, and it was to have that effect of, the poetry. There was no introduction. So the audience didn't understand actually what you were saying. It was too fast, and your voice was clear. You have a very good voice quality, but it was too fast, and one couldn't get, what you were saying.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shirley Bhandari from 10 Sagacity, and today I'll recite a self-composed poem on reality. World is a complicated place to be, for what you know is not what you see. Cherishing and laughing in the time you spend, but suddenly this seems to be the end. Like the dunes of the desert and the waves of the sea, it's never the same. Oh, believe me. Then you see yourself swinging from happy to sad. And sometimes you are in the green jealousy clad, which makes you fear of you turning bad. And all this confusion just makes you mad. If trust and honesty were easily found, peace would be there all around. But this is the inexorable fact of the world. Then also make sure your lips are always curled. Thank you.
Shirley, it was very well recited. The feeling in the poem was communicated, and it was a nice rhythmic sort of thing. Very nice.
Good morning, everyone. I am Aisha Nagarwala from Grade 10 Serenity. Today, I'm going to take you on a little quest. A quest to acknowledge the first two books of the Heroes of Olympus series, written by Rick Riordan and based on Greek and Roman mythology. Here's some glossary before we start, so that you can understand my poem better. Hera is the queen of the Olympian gods and the goddess of family, fertility, and women. Jaya is the ultimate goddess of the earth and the land. Periclymenus was a descendant of Poseidon who had given him the ability to shapeshift into different animals. Alcyoneus and Enceladus are two giants who have come back from the underworld through Jaya's forces. Camp Jupiter and Camp Half-Blood are the Greek and Roman demigod camps. This is Hera's exchange by me. Hera or Juno, whichever you wish, decided to make a sneaky switch. Perseus Jackson went to Rome, to Camp Jupiter, a newfound home. Jason Grace made friends with the Gracchus, found a brother in the son of Hephaestus. He fell in love with the daughter of Aphrodite. Piper was her name. Her strengths were a precognitive dagger and charm speed. Percy Jackson, the son of Poseidon, met Hazel with a curse for diamonds. He met Frank, whom he was proud to be related to, the son of Mars, but a descendant of Periclymenus too. Hera had washed our heroes' brains clean of all but one memory each. Percy remembered Annabeth, the daughter of Athena. She was brave, athletic, and astonishingly clever. Jason Grace remembered his sister, Thalia Grace, whose skills were sinister. Daughter of Zeus and hunter of Artemis, yet height still made her squeamish. Our heroes from Camp Jupiter went on a quest to Alaska, the land beyond the gods. They pulled Alcyoneus to Canada to free Thanatos, the death god. to stop the reforming armies of Jaya. Meanwhile, at Camp Half-Blood, 3 embarked on another quest, to stop the lady in the mud, to free Hera, whom they did detest. Now Piper was in a tough spot, Enceladus had her father caught. She had to help him, 'twas the only way, and so bravely they fought. And thus Hera was released, and Thanatos too, but yet Jaya had not ceased. The great prophecy was yet to come true. Mother Earth was yet to awake, and when she does, the greatest sacrifices our heroes shall make. Thank you.
Aisha. Now, Aisha, the best part of your poetry was that you gave a very nice introduction and you gave the glossary. Otherwise, your poem would have been a disaster because nobody would have understood what you were saying. So the glossary was very good. The storytelling was well done, but it was, more animation was needed. You're telling a story. Now listen to a lot of storytellers, the way their eyes move, the way their hands move, the way their expression in the voice. So that only came about in the later part of the poem. Now Piper was in a tough spot. That was very well said. And after that, your animation started. In the beginning, the animation of storytelling was not there. Before that, it should have been more animated.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lisha from class 10 Serenity, and today I'm going to be reciting a self-composed poem called Float. What happens when you jump in the deep end of the ocean? It's murky, but placid. When a wave of dubiety washes over you, leaving your skin salty but valid. A hint of cherry speaks to you, hushed and quiet. Escaping from your insides, it's high tide. What happens when you dig your heels into the sand, dry and naked? When the waves crash to the shore, grazing your feet, clammy and painted. A hint of cherry speaks to you, loud and strident. Escaping from your insides, it's low tide. It happens when you immerse yourself deeper and deeper, steel or azure. When there's only one way to the surface, which would you rather? A hint of cherry sways you, speak or gather. Escaping from your insides, stem the tide. Thank you.
Lisha, your poems, I appreciate you for your thoughts, your complicated thoughts, and the heartfelt thing that you come across with. But again, like I told you in the beginning, a little introduction should have been there, which should have told the audience, which way your mind was going. Abstract poems need a bit of explanation. Unless your audience is so well aware of these concepts, when your poetry actually is much beyond your ears. So probably when you reach a stage when you're reciting to a very aware audience, you'll be good. But you are reciting to a 10th standard audience, and people like us, frankly, even I did not understand the abstract notion of your poetry. So I admit that I was not able to understand what you were wanting to communicate. So that is why I have this objection. You should have given an introduction and if not an introduction, probably you thought it will kill your poetry if you introduce and tell the audience what you're saying. But at the end, explanation of what you were trying to say was very, very needed in your poetry.
Good morning, Good morning, respected Mrs. Aradhana Rana, Director, the Icon Public School. I am Ridhima Bhatia, one of the budding poets in the Icon Public School who got inspired to present her writings in a public forum from her mentor, who is you. My poem is titled as The Whistling Wind. It's a brief description of what wind has seen and gone through. It has seen the better and the worse and knows it all. Nature is important, and my poem describes how human intervention in nature has devastated basic laws of life.
My poem says that at first, wind used to be extremely annoyed by so many obstruction of trees and insects and furious animals that it was scared of them. And which is why, slowly, one by one, tree by tree, insect by insect, the inhumane humans strikes it all off so that the wind gets all the place to fly in. But soon the wind realizes its mistake. It saw how lonely it was and how selfish humans were, how heartlessly humans threw away the mess they made just to get rid of it, like escapists. But over the course, we have realized our flaws, and as the light of hope seeps through, nature celebrates. The whistling wind. The whistling wind that once felt crowded with acquaintances of fireflies and glowing eyes, the humans succurs it and is now flying in clouds of toxic disguise. When it saw the howling muzzle and the cat in black and orange stripes move and stray in its glory, even the wind feared its fury. Again, the humans turn to rescue. The wind now perceives the iron bars, restricting its furry paws to behold the wind from the fury roars. When it saw the sleeping grains blocking its way to further, and the humans help it again by bestowing acres of land to anchor. Yet the wind weeps in the laps of Mother Nature to ponder. As the wind wept and screamed in excruciating pain of dreadful sorrow caused by the inhumane, with droughts and hurricane it whined to explain. Soon the light struck the human brain. With an abstract light, the wisdom we gained, we welcomed our creation back again. It thrived and bloomed with winter's footprints in the past, and snows begin to melt at last. With longer days and shorter nights, the wayward winds of March take flight. 4 winds she holds within her grip, then hurls them from her fingertip. Her woolly, fleecy clouds of white she sets in skies of blue delight. She welcomes April showers in, then gathers up her dwindling winds. Now her long home begins, knowing she'll be back this way upon a cold late winter's day. When nights grow and days grow longer, listen for her whistling song.
Now, Ridhima, your introduction was, I think, the best out of the lot because you absolutely explained your whole idea of the poem. And it helped us, see your poem from your point of view. And very, very well recited. It was, your expression, your voice quality was very good. Next time, a little, mild your accent a bit, because sometimes the words roll so much that you can't make out what you're saying. There was a lovely rhythm and lilt to the voice, which was very pleasant to the ears. Voice modulation was very good. And that little caressing quality and expression was very good. It frankly did not impress me so much on paper as it impressed me today when you were reciting it. On paper, it seemed like any other poem. Your recitation brought it to life. So that was very good.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Serene Mithali from Grade 10 Serenity, and today I'll be reciting a poem called It's Okay to Take a Break. When you're younger, carefree, you run around in the hustling park. You giggle with your friends and learn about dolphins and sharks. You're taught to achieve things and always be on the top. You're taught to walk, jog, run, even fall, but never stop. With the vision in your mind and everything pre-planned, you start running in a loop with something always at hand. You run and run and run in the endless, exhausting race until your sore feet cannot keep up with the pace, and you fall and you sob at nights that are sleepless. With everything you once wanted, you still feel the emptiness. You don't always need to win the world's nasty popularity contest. Keep burning in the rat race until all the good becomes past tense. Nobody ever told you how important is taking breaks. Standing at your window and observing the snowflakes. Watering your plants and cuddling your pets. Calling your grandmother and telling her she's the best. You don't have to be productive all the time. It's okay not to be a city that doesn't sleep all night. Be the Himalayas. Calm down. Pause just for a while. The world knows that you can paint and the world knows that you can sing. But what actually matters are some really different things. Like maintaining friendships and being kind and doing people good and just being nice. Embrace your inner self. It is the softer parts of you which need praise, which are tired of all the run and chase. It is not easy to catch the mice and get them out of the house. It is not easy to fix the air conditioner manually or stitch a blouse. It's important to stop and let the beauty around you sink in, to be happy and nourish the goodness within. There's a lot of joy in the little things in life. Watch a movie you watched as a kid, chilling in pajamas and a t-shirt. Cheat for just one day and take a second helping of the dessert. You might be thinking my ideas are so absurd, but mind you, there's a high chance they're going to work. There will be days when the quiet blonde girl in the next cubicle suddenly becomes friendly, and days when strangers fall in love with your poetry. Life is beautiful and people are really lovely. You don't have to be a 24/7 working machine, prepping for late night shows and being a hypermobile being. It isn't important to take every road and try every hat. To always be doing this or finishing that, rather than burning up and ending, go steady and slow. Take your time and you'll learn to grow. Thank you.
Mithali's poem was not at all abstract. It was so clear. It was, just you could make out what she was saying. Beautifully written words. I was very impressed with when the poem came in. Equally impressed with the recitation because the words were absolutely clear. And every word had its own expression. Now, when you go back to the recording, please listen to her poetry once again from a critic point of view. Every word and every sentence, the expression changed with what she was saying. It was right from the heart. There was nothing artificial about the poetry. It was just like she was speaking to you. So her voice was very well modulated, clear. Pauses were very nice. And it made your heart very happy, listening to this whole poem. And there was no confusion in your mind. So that I liked really, well about her poem.
Good morning, everyone present here. I'm Serene Arya, co-creator from Class 10 Serenity. Today, I'm here with a new poem that I wrote recently. There are people who are with unique dreams that often get lost in the crowd and try to fit in by doing the things that people around them do. Tomorrow is a day that brings new opportunities, new hopes in those people's lives. Sometimes there are people that spend their entire life for waiting for that tomorrow, but sometimes it usually never came. So this poem asks those people with dreams to never stop dreaming, and once that tomorrow comes, sprout out your wings and fly up high. The poem I'm going to recite it today is called As Up Tomorrow. Even though I'm crawling down tonight, tomorrow I will go up to the sky. Even if the wind goes wild, no matter what, I'm going up to the sky. I'm tired, right? But it passed behind. I don't even know why. I'm scared, but I really want to fly high. Look up. Look up when there is day, when tomorrow becomes today. Today becomes yesterday, so tomorrow will become yesterday and my anxiety will disappear someday. The place is the limit that is higher than the place I fell. If someone gets on your head, turn your world upside down. If someone twists your leg, then spread your wings and fly up. Even if today it's at the tip of my toes, I'm going over up your head tomorrow. Even if you block my way, still I will go up tomorrow. I'm firing on that runway. I know I'm going to get there someday. But I don't need any very steady go. Talk turns into air, and I don't even care. Your words don't mean a thing. I'm not listening, just keep talking because all I know is I won't fall. No pain, no gain, no rain, no hurricane can ever stop me because the sky looks the largest when your back is at the ground. If I go up as much as I've fallen, I'm never coming down. The dawn before the sun rises is the darkest. Even tomorrow, I won't forget the me of right now, wherever I'm right now. I won't give up, Don't get far away tomorrow. The world is different from what promised. The world doesn't have right to blame if it didn't notice. Even if it pulls me down, puts me down, I'm going up. I'm blowing up, not giving up tomorrow. Thank you.
Arya, it was very well expressed. Your voice modulation is very good, but the voice modulation should be according to the words. Your voice had a high pitch and high excitement throughout the poetry. So it was a forever excited pitch. There were sentences in the poetry which did not require the high pitch you were giving. So that is, feel the poetry. Then you will know. It's like a debate. Every time you don't have to be shouting and putting your fists on the table. You have to know when to lower your voice, when to make it lilt, when to make it excited, and all that range has to be there, which is needed in your poetry. Now, poetry is about audience engagement. The audience should understand. The audience should be riveted to the TV, to the screen, to listen to you. You can't have the audience, even miss a line of your poetry, because if they do, they'll not understand it. So that is why recitation of the poetry is very important, and feeling of the poetry is very important.
Good morning, respected teachers and my fellow classmates. I'm Serene from grade 10 Serenity. I'm sure all of us can agree that this world is selfish and cruel. I wrote this short poem as an imagination of this little innocent girl who is full of happiness and the only selfless and caring person left in this selfish world. The title of my poem is The Last Angel. She's the one, last of a kind, fallen from heaven, so pure is her mind. The world is cruel, full of hatred. Everyone's selfish, feelings negated. She is an angel, a ball of sunshine, a heart of gold with sweet love so divine. They envy her gaiety and her sparkling little eyes, trying to take away her innocence with their evil tries. But however hard they try, they shall always fail, because she's a dauntless behind this misty veil. Thank you.
But whatever I've said is only to improve you. Overall, it was a fantastic performance, frankly, much beyond my expectations. And I'm very happy that this year, I see a lot of creativity in the students. Whether it is your video making, whether it is your poetry, whether I was listening to some of your other pieces also. Fantastic, absolutely. Keep it up, because you can only get through this time if your mind is creative, mind is involved. Otherwise, it's very easy to get into depression during these kind of times. So you not only have to be positive and creative, have your mind involved, you have to keep your families involved. Families, up in their morale, especially your parents, because adults understand the repercussions of, these trying times. So it's very easy for them to get depressed. So those of you who are going through trying times, please see to it that you have the responsibility of keeping your parents' morals also up. And the best way to do it is to keep your mind alive, ticking, creative. And don't, this is not the time where you get so involved in your books and studies that you start feeling gloomy and depressed. Come out of your books. The education now on is going to be that of these are the skills which will help you. It's not that you'll all becoming poets. It is your creative side of mind where you will start thinking, where you start developing vocabulary, read a lot, listen a lot, and you'll all improve. So thank you very much. Really delighted. I'm so happy I came to judge this because it's made me learn a lot of things also, and maybe improve my poetry. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of guidance and encouragement. We will surely keep up to your expectations. And we thank one and all present here for joining us today. Thank you.